everyone, and welcome to a special edition of Community Forum. My name is Mike Jacobson. Joining us today are members of the Coalition of Veterans Organizations. I have Latanya Gamblin, who is a director, a member of the board of directors, and I also have Bruce Perry, who's the treasurer of the organization. Thank you guys for being a part of this show today.
Thank you for having us.
All right, so let's break this down. Let's talk about your organization. Bruce, what's the most important thing you want people to know about the coalition?
The Coalition is an advocate organization that does what all of the member organizations by themselves can't do. We advocate for veterans. We're very active. We are fighting for veterans' health care, for veterans' dental care. We're fighting against violence in the community and many other things.
Latanya, so as a board member, why did you decide to be a board member with this organization?
For a number of reasons. Number one, I see the vision, and the vision is having a coalition of organizations that come together and ultimately have a common goal, and that's working to help, fight for the veterans.
All right, so we're going to really quickly show you the website right here, which is right here. You can see on the homepage, you can see all these different information. Actually, you can see Bruce right there, which was on a prior KNTV show. How about that? So you can learn all about this organization right here. And the website is Coalition of Vets. That's coalitionofvets.org. Okay, so let's get this started. So a lot of things you're working on. What I want to talk about here, one thing is the veterans' benefits and what you're fighting for. Bruce, what are you guys fighting for?
Okay, we have 5 primary points that we're fighting for. One is to get medical care for all veterans without different priorities that exclude veterans and without the means test and without copays. We're also trying to get benefits for veterans, what we call presumptive benefits, where if somebody applies for disability, they get the disability immediately, and then the VA goes through its process. We're fighting for equality for women's health care for all women veterans. They have special needs, and it needs to be equitable with men's health care. That's been the priority in the past. We're fighting to end veterans' homelessness. There is nothing more down about the entire country than the fact that we have veterans on the street and homeless, and this needs to be ended. And then finally, we have Veterans Against Violence. We are fighting to end the community violence by working with other organizations within the city to end the violence on our streets. Those are the main things. Within that, we're also fighting for dental care for all veterans, to expand the care that veterans receive, because dental care is tied to your general health, and it's extremely important.
So now let's talk about this, Latanya. So you're a coalition of more than 15 veteran groups. How is that a benefit? Like, is there a lot of commingling, like in terms of figuring out what issues are and what people possibly are doing, to fight those issues?
Oh yes, there is. I'll just mention NWVU, for example. They're actually one of the members within CVO, and I'm also a member of NWVU too. They're for the women's, like he said, women's have special needs when it comes to being a veteran woman. Let's see, we have the Muslim veterans. They come and talk about and express their issues that they may have within the veteran community of being a Muslim. So it's just the conglomerate of information that's being put out, amongst our members to the whole coalition.
So what I find kind of interesting, a lot of people know, probably neighbors, family members who are veterans, but it seems like, they're forgotten. Once they're back, it's like, hey, we're back. Great. So now move on. Be a part of the community, be part of naturally what's going on in your city, in your community. But it's not that easy, because a lot of people, in terms of what's going on, both physically and mentally, because what battlefields can do for people. But even loved ones, the closest loved ones, are like, well, can't you just go out and get back involved in the community?
And fix it. Yeah. Right, yeah.
It's not that easy, correct?
It's not that easy.
I'm a combat infantry veteran from Vietnam. I was there for 20 months, and I came back 100% disabled for PTSD. It completely changes you, and it's taken a lot of work and a lot of care, much of which was at the VA, and some of which was outside the VA and in programs outside, to deal with that PTSD. And I continue to deal with it today, 50 years after I got to Vietnam.
Wow.
In fact, today is my 51st anniversary of being commissioned in the U.S. Army. And,
well,
and I got to Vietnam in 1969 in July. So in a month, I'll be 50 years that I got there. And that 20-month period in Vietnam has affected my life more than any other period in my life, more than any other single broad event. It's very difficult to deal with, and the transition back to civilian life and to participate in your community is not easy, and it's not something that's automatic by any means. And we hope many of our organizations help provide services to veterans to help make that transition possible.
So, fighting. You talked about dental care. Fighting for dental care. This seems basically like a home run, something that should be taken care of, and because veterans coming back need to have the help that they need. So, what's the issue here?
Well, the issue, I think, comes down to budget. The federal government has to pass this, and it's been on the agenda. We've had a bill in. The current bill is H.R. 96, and we've had a number of co-sponsors, but it's been blocked basically because of budget concerns. The reality is, if you deal with dental care, you save money on a lot of other medical issues that result from poor dental care, including heart disease, and cancer and other things that develop if you don't have proper dental care.
And also, veterans in the community. One thing is veteran homelessness. Talk about that, because again, this falls into when veterans come back from war and they're trying to recalibrate themselves and also get involved in the community. There's a lot of hurdles that have to be crossed. And so, but a lot of these veterans fall off, right?
Yeah,
and they go off the cycle.
They do, yeah. And I've actually had the opportunity to do some direct outreach with veterans who are homeless and who are in the streets. And it's sad. You go out there, you listen to their stories, and some of them are just to the point where it's not like they want to be homeless, but they just don't trust the system. They don't trust being able to go and ask for help or ask for this or ask for that because of the way that they've been treated or the way they feel they've been treated.
One of the disasters of homelessness is women homelessness with kids. And that can occur take an example of domestic violence. It can occur now.
Yes.
Overnight. I need a place to stay. I've got 2-3 kids, and please help. And many of the agencies are not set up to deal with that kind of thing. And we have, again, National Women Veterans United, NWVU, and other organizations that scramble to find homes for homeless families that have been dislocated from their stable situation.
And also, the NWVU provides the Right Now services, like he was saying, that immediate help. We do what we can, and just try to work through, just iron out the wrinkles.
Mm-hmm. So, because I know that what I've heard, from other veterans is that it is that immediacy that's needed that's not always received. Exactly. A lot of the times the bureaucracy comes in, and it could be weeks, it could be months before care is provided, whatever that care is needed, correct?
That's correct.
So one of the things, too, is talking about fighting against the privatization of the VA.
One of the things that has happened over the last 10, 15 years is piece by piece, different aspects of the VA have been privatized, and they are getting to the point now where they are privatizing aspects of our health care, and that is taking money away from services that are being directly affect veterans, and this is extremely dangerous. And of course, it's not something where they run around announcing that they're privatizing the VA. They continually deny it. The forces that be continually deny it. But the fact of the matter is more and more privatization is taking place. And that is, we think, extremely dangerous for the care that has been provided to the VA. The VA, despite many protestations by various agencies, provides some of the best health care in the country.
Yes, hands down.
Yeah, it's better than many of the private hospitals and many of the private sector, and it has things that specifically deal with veterans' issues that the private sector isn't prepared to deal with. And there are a number of studies that show this. That doesn't come out, and privatization fights against that better health care. And that's why we're fighting against privatization.
So now let's talk about veterans in the community and what a lot of veterans are doing to help community. And one of the things is the fight against violence. We know that specifically here in the city of Chicago. So can we talk about that?
We have a committee called Veterans Against Violence, and we have worked with local agencies and national agencies to end the violence on the streets. And veterans have been in combat. We know what that kind of violence is, and we know that that has no place in our communities today. So we have a dedicated committee and organization that is working to end violence and to work with other organizations. It's a very complex problem, and but it's something that we are adding to and working with on a regular basis.
And what about also the poor as well? Because I know that this also falls into the line of helping the poor, but also veterans who are dealing with these type of issues. Money issues.
Right. There are a number of agencies that provide aid to veterans who are poor, whether they're homeless or not, because there's a lot of poverty that goes around. We also participate in the Poor People's Campaign, who are fighting to end poverty. We're not fighting the poor, fighting to end poverty, and a national call for a moral revival to understand that people need to have the basic services of society provided and to not leave those to chance and to have the poverty that we have. In fact, one of the stunning statistics is that 48% of the people in the United States are either at the poverty level or below twice the poverty level. That's about half the population, and that's really an indicator of how much work we have to do to end poverty in the richest country in the world.
Wow.
So as we start to wrap up the show, so I really want to know, for those of us who are in the community, what can we do in terms of helping your organizations like yours and helping veterans?
You're doing a great job right now.
That's right.
Providing us this platform. This is awesome, and the Coalition of Veterans, we really appreciate this. So.
Absolutely, and people can contact the Coalition of Veterans Organizations through our website, which we showed you, coalitionofvets.org. And you can, obviously financial donations are wonderful, but people's participation is really important. And if you're not a vet, but you're interested, contact us. We have non-vets who are very active as well within the organization. And of course, get involved in your community on any of these issues or many others that face us. I think that's extremely important that people get involved.
Mm-hmm. And one of the things I want to talk about too is also you guys have monthly meetings at the Jesse Brown VA. So talk about that and like who can show up and what happens at those meetings.
Okay, so we have our monthly meetings every third Wednesday of the month. It starts at 7 p.m. We have it at Jesse Brown. It's on the second floor.
Second
We
floor
have it on the
conference
second
room.
floor conference room. And we welcome veterans. Like he said, we welcome people within the community who just want to come check us out, help. So our doors are open.
We also have presentations by people that present information that's of interest mainly to veterans, but also to the community. I can give you some examples. I mean, we've had Abraham Lincoln Cemetery come. We've had the the people against handgun violence come, and many others. DuSable Museum made a presentation, so we have items of interest to everyone. Jesse Brown VA is at 820 South Damon in the city. The main entrance is actually on Ogden, just off of Polk in Chicago. And like we said, the third Wednesday of every month, we're always there, 7 p.m., second floor conference room.
All right, so this is the last question, because we have about 50 seconds left. What's the most important thing that you want people to know about your organization?
We are here and we are working for veterans, and that veterans are an important part of the community and have a lot of needs that we are trying to meet.
Yes, and I just want to piggyback off of that. And yes, we are all here. We're, collaborating together, and we're just going to push forward and push through whatever fight that we have to fight.
Tanya. Bruce, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you for joining us today. You've been watching a special edition of Community Forum. All of you guys, please have a great day.